guy. Finally got one. Little buzzbait bass. Come on, baby. He came up and crushed it. Look at that fish. Oh my goodness. Not a giant, but a beautiful Roosevelt Lake bass, folks. Today, I'll tell you what, it's fall. We just had a big front blow through though, and it's the first sunny day after the front, but we're just going into fall. The water temperature is still 84 degrees. These fish should still eat. And I'll tell you what, I'm throwing today as a buzzbait, one of my favorite fall kind of baits right here. The water dingied up a little bit. And this particular bait here is made by Persuader Baits. And I'll tell you what, it's an awesome bait. I put on the little chartreuse bladed buzzbait, which really has a lot of flash in it. It's almost a chromey type chartreuse blade. And look how they put that little tiny willow leaf there. Not only does it flash good, but it knocks on the blade and makes a lot of noise, which makes it great to attract these bass in this dirtier water. And of course, you know how I like to put my grub tail on the end of it. I'm using a chartreuse and white bait and just going down the bank in shallow water. And we're back in the Salome Cove, and figured that'd be a good area to start. And just got started here. And so we'll see what we can't do about catching some more fish, but that's a great bait to throw. I'm throwing it on 65-pound braid line. And then of course, you know, I've got a good old, almost an 8-foot medium action rod. That way, it's got a real stiff butt to it where you can really set the hook hard once the fish inhales the bait, but the tip allows the bait to actually get inhaled by the fish. And even if you get a little overzealous, the tip will flex for you so the fish can actually get the bait in the mouth a lot of times. And then a big old 6.2 to 1 or 6.4 to 1. You can even go with a higher ratio reel if you want. But this is the outfit for this buzzbait. And it's that time of year. You know, as we get into midsummer and start heading into fall, and we have fall and the water starts cooling down, buzzbaits are great all the way down to 60 or 59 degree water. But I'll tell you what, in the fall, this is a great bait and you can cover lots of water, and that's the key. A lot of times this time of year, they're gonna be chasing shad, they're gonna be following them wherever they're going. And so you wanna just keep up with them and cover a lot of water with this bait, and you'll catch a lot of fish. One of the reasons I love the grub on this bait is it kind of looks real. It has that little tail action like a little fish or something in the water, and it really works good. Now, when you're throwing at bushes like I'm throwing at, you want to throw past the bush, throw through the middle of the bush or on the left side or the right side of the bush, make a couple of casts. Now, the key to buzzbaits, and I'll tell you what, from the past few years of me actually getting out and deciding to do a little bit of guiding, and I've done some guiding, and the one thing I've learned from clients, and I have to sit back, and it actually helps me make this show for you so I can help you throw these baits a little bit more better, or a little better anyway. But so many people grab this bait and they think they got to throw it really fast. And what I mean by that is they'll grab the bait, they'll cast it out there, and then they'll just start really buzzing it. See how fast I'm bringing it across the water? It's not that you can't catch fish doing that, but the key to me to catching a lot of fish on this particular bait is to go as slow as you can and keep it on top of the water. Okay, so basically when you throw it out there, take your cast, you throw it out there, you bring your rod tip up, see how my rod tip's up, and I'm barely cranking, and I'm just barely keeping that bait on top of the water. And then as it gets closer to me, I lower my rod tip to keep it in the water with that same slow reel. Even though I'm using a fast retrieve ratio reel, I can just barely keep that thing on top of the water. Now there's little tricks to the trade in throwing this bait that's a lot of fun too. You can take and throw this bait out there, and you can just bring it with a steady retrieve, keep it on top of the water, steady retrieve, and every once in a while, just give it a little twitch of the rod, or just a small twitch, not a big twitch, just enough to make the thing chatter a little bit. And a lot of times they'll come up and whack it doing that too. That was on a steady retrieve. We'll keep going with a steady retrieve for a while and see what happens, but there's all kinds of different ways you can catch bass on this particular bait. We're in shallow water. I'm in 5 foot of water out here. So you can throw all the way to the bank, or you can throw around these trees. The fish are here. It's gonna be probably a little slower than normal because of that big front that blew through, but I can tell you this, I've been watching the tournament standings on this lake the last couple of weeks, and it's taken 16, 17 pounds to win a tournament on this lake. So the bass are here, just gotta find them. Oh, there he is. Right off that bank right over there. Come on, buddy. Boy, few and far between because of the front that blew through, but little keeper there. Oh, come on. Few and far between, but he was in the back of the cut, see? We're finding a bunch of these, I'm seeing them too, they're shallow, but a bunch of these bass back here off of points and in the backs of cuts like this. And even during the day, you know, the mid-afternoon, when you start seeing the dragonflies and all that making their way out, a lot of times these bass will get up there and eat those too. I'm not seeing a whole lot of shad action. That front must have pushed some stuff down, and you know, sometimes those fronts can hurt the fishing. We had a big heavy rain and it really dirtied up the Salt River end, and we came out to the main lake here just to get a little bit clearer water. It was like chocolate milk back there. Not that you couldn't catch fish back there, but I wanted to try this out here. You know, these baits too, you got to remember that Persuader makes a lot of great baits. They make jigs, they make spinner baits, buzz baits, they make some topwater, and it's a great bait company that makes really good quality baits. But I want to show you something that's really important to remember, at least it's worked for me over the years, is these baits are awesome. And I like to throw that single little blade when you don't have hardly any chop on the water and it's glass like this. I'll throw that one, or you can throw the little triple blade. But they also make, you know, if you get a little bit of chop on the water, they also make a couple of fun baits too that are fun to throw. Here's some of these baits that I like. I'm gonna show them to you. For buzz baits, okay? Here's a double-bladed buzz bait, and these work great when you have a little chop on the water. You want a little bit more noise, a little bit more ruckus, or when the fish are chasing shad and you can see them along the banks and they're busting them up along there. This causes a lot of commotion. It works great. That's a good bait. They've just come out with this 3-blade buzz bait. And I'll tell you what, this is gonna be fun for smallmouth, black blades. Anytime you get like a cloud cover, I like to go to black. So anytime the clouds are overhead during the day, I like to go to black. So, or you see any of the black dragonflies running around, a lot of times I'll go to black. And that even comes with a little tail in it, but that's a great bait. We're gonna be catching fish on that. And then, of course, there's the one that'll really slow down and catch you a lot of fish. It's a blade within a blade. It's a triple blade outside, or on the inside of a double blade. And that really causes a lot of commotion and catches a lot of fish. And I bet at Apache Lake and in places like that, even here at Roosevelt, when they really are hitting those buzz baits hard, these baits are gonna be a lot of fun. I've got 3 baits that I like to use, 3 colors. I like white, I like the white and chartreuse, and then I like the black. And I've won a lot of money with black buzz baits, believe it or not. Anytime you have smallmouth in a lake, anytime you have a little cloud cover, things like that, you can catch a lot of fish on the black buzz bait. So you don't ever want to go without one in your tackle box. And of course the white and white and chartreuse, great when they're chasing shad, things like that, and those work really good. But these are just a few baits that Persuader's got out right now, of many that work really well and you can put in your tackle box and catch a lot of fish on. Right now I'm throwing that colored bladed one. It's a new one and it's got the chartreuse blade. And I got that because I knew the water would be just a tad bit dingy from the rain yesterday. And anything that's a little bit dingy, I like that chartreuse. You know, we all use a lot of chartreuse and white type spinner baits and things like that. So having that blade flash. It's kind of a chromey type blade. It works really good. So we'll just keep going down the bank, trying to figure out where these bass are kind of located at. I thought they might be in the brush, in the bushes. We just caught that one off of the back of a sloping rocky bank. I don't even see any brush in there, but towards the back of pockets is a real good place to look for in the fall for these bass, even during the midday. Okay, so that's something to think about. Oh, I got bit right. Oh, maybe I still got him. Ha! He hit it right up there in the way shallows. That's a small bass. That's a little dude, but he wanted it. I wasn't sure I had you, bud. I wasn't sure I had you. Took a swipe at it, didn't you? Just a little guy. Look at this. Does this show you what largemouth? I mean, largemouth and smallmouth are pretty much the same thing as far as they'll eat a bait bigger than them. Look at that. He didn't care, he wanted it. Got me all wet. Am I interrupting your eating there? Oh, oh, there he is, out of the weeds. I was busy talking to the cows, making conversation. Yes, there's another bass right out of the weeds. Right out of the weeds, come on, gotcha. Just gotta keep hunting them. Gotta keep hunting them. Got into a little bit dingier water. You can see the weed mats right on top. And he was just right there in those mats of weeds on that Persuader buzzbait. Been my buzzbait on that one. There we go. You know, anytime you have a buzzbait that tweaks on you, this has got a good hard wire on it, so a lot of times they don't bend, but if you do get them bent from side to side, they'll roll on you. So you want to make sure that that blade is going straight to the hook. You know, when you turn it like this, make sure that it's tweaked to the spot where it's called tuning the bait and making sure that the blade is in line with the hook. That way it runs straight, runs true. So that helps you a lot too when you're doing a buzzbait, doing a little buzzbait bass. I'm liking that chartreuse blade. It's tough bite today, but it's fun to watch him come up and blast that buzzbait. Busy talking to the cows over there. We've caught these fish on rock. We've caught them in weeds. They're just kind of scattered. It's one of those days where you got to put your trolling motor on high, cover lots of water. The only thing we haven't hit's any kind of bluffy areas really to speak of, but you definitely just have to put your trolling motor on and just cover lots of water. You know, my boat was sitting in, what, 7 foot of water when we caught that fish, so he's pretty shallow, but he came out of those weeds and blasted it. Maybe we'll luck out through here. I'm not seeing a whole lot of action on the water like you'd normally see this time of year, and I think it's because that front blew through the last couple of days, and it blew pretty hard and rained really hard. It definitely muddied up the water in the backs of these cuts, which ain't a bad thing. It's really not a bad thing, you know. It helps disguise the lure a little bit sometimes, and you know, it'll, those fish will still be there. Hey folks, for my tip of the week, one thing that's really important to me in buzzbait fishing is I've totally gotten away from using, say, fluorocarbon line or monofilament line, and I've gone to braid. Braid can give me that long, extra cast that I need with no stretch in the line. When there's no stretch in the line, as long as you have a good tip on your rod, you know, so they can get it in their mouth and a good backbone, you can really get the hook set in these fish from a long distance away versus back in the old days, you make a long cast with that monofilament. Monofilament has stretch in it. Your pole's bending with the stretch and the pole bending. It's hard to get the hook inside the fish because these are big old meaty hooks. So In saying that, I highly suggest using braid line for your buzz baits, and I think you'll hook up a lot more fish. Oh, there's one right there, a good one. Right out of the weeds in the back of the pocket. Come on, buddy. That's a little bit bigger bass. Yeah, the Buzzbait bass, right there. He hit me right out of those weeds. In the thick of these weeds right here is where he got me. Right here, we'll release him right back. See how thick these weeds are? You find these weeds in the back of the pocket, that's 2 now. So, I mean, if you find this kind of stuff, that's what you're looking for. You'll cover a lot of water and you'll catch them. Oh, there's one right there off the point. Oh, that's a little bit better fish too. Not a giant, but come on, baby. Little Buzzbait bass. Yes. It's one of those days where you just cover water and catch some fun topwater fish. Let me tell you, this buzzbait, I'll tell you what, awesome bait. Persuader Baits makes some great baits, let me tell you. Oh my goodness. That little clack from that little tiny willow leaf blade right there, as this comes around and hits that, is noisy enough to where, with the water being just a bit dingy from the rains that we've had, it's bringing them up. Even off that point, just bringing them up, and they just smash this bait. It's fun, a lot of fun, let me tell you. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we've been catching them out of the weeds in the backs of pockets, so that's always something fun to check. And then now we've also caught a few out on the points. Now, in saying that, it's almost like a Lake Mead deal, you know? It cracked me up. I just got back from the US Open, but just put your head down, cover lots of water, and believe in the bait that you're throwing, and you'll catch some fish on it. You're gonna go through some areas where you're not getting bit at all, and then all of a sudden, bam, they just come up and just surprise you, but makes it a lot of fun. I'll tell you, catch some bass here at Roosevelt Lake, and it's 1:30 in the afternoon, and we're still out just buzzbaiting away. So you can still catch topwater bass during the day, in the mid part of the day. Don't ever think that the only time you can catch topwater bass is early in the morning or late in the evening. It might be a little better because of the low light conditions, but in saying that, sometimes I've gotten on some great topwater bites right in the middle of the day. You know, we've had a great time on the lake today. Roosevelt Lake, that first day after a cold front blew through, a bunch of rain, and I'll tell you, we still caught them on buzzbaits. Don't be afraid to pick up that Persuader buzzbait. It's a great buzzbait. I'll tell you what, it's made great, and it's a 5/0 hook on that thing, and I'll tell you what, it really gets the fish. Until next time, we'll see you on the water. I'm Johnny Johnson.